Morten Harket's just making himself at home and relaxing on the sofa. Good morning.
Looks very relaxed already.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
You too.
Our next guest was the lead singer of the 80s band, which clocked up more than 36 million album sales worldwide.
Yes, Morten Harket created Norway's most famous musical export, Aha, but now he's releasing a solo album here in the UK.
We'll be talking to Morten in just a moment. First, let's look back at some of those hits.
Morten, very good morning to you. I spent many happy minutes last night, hours looking at old videos. I mean, great times. Do you remember them fondly?
I do remember them, also fondly. Yeah.
That's good.
But you were kind of, at the time, there was you were enormous. It's a bit hard now to remember quite how big it was at the time. You were Norwegian, which was a novelty, I think, for the UK audience.
Yeah.
And you were very good looking, obviously. You had a big impact.
Okay, I accept that, if you say so.
How did that manifest itself? I mean, what change happened in your life? Because it must be quite dramatic at the time.
Well, the main thing that happens when fame or celebrity happens to you is that you're actually ousted from society. That's actually what happens.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what, you can't socialise? Or
no, everything changes, you know, because before other people, you change. You become something else and someone else, and so you're no longer them.
So do you think we all had an impression of who you were without obviously knowing you personally? So people thought...
Well, these are the mechanisms. You know, psychologically, that's what happens.
So what was the stereotypical view of what you were like, do you think?
It's mainly the fact that, you know, the bus is no longer yours, the train, the shops, the supermarkets, the street. So that's really the main thing that
so
changes.
It doesn't, from what you're saying, it wasn't necessarily a comcomfortable thing for you then?
It's not a comfortable thing, it's an exciting thing. It's a lot of energy to it.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is to start with. It hits you like a train. And then you understand it more, you know, and you try and compensate, you know, and make things work, because you're just you anyway. You don't change really, but you have to adapt to it.
Were you able to lead a different life in Norway? I mean, you live in Norway now.
It's the same. It doesn't. Yeah, it's the same anywhere in the world, really.
Really? And so
people
now,
are people.
Just bring us up to date now. So you live in Norway now?
Yeah, I do.
And
I have. For a while, I'm not good at that. I moved from this country. I was here for 12, 13 years. I moved in 96, 97, and have been in Norway since.
And tell us about, so we'll talk about maybe Aha a bit more in a minute, but tell us about the new album and all the writing and how you've come to write it then.
Well, Aha disbanded in 2010, at the end of that year. We had a big world tour celebrating 25 years together, and it was a big year for us. And prior to that, the year before, we had a big album. So we were doing very well, but at the same time, we knew that all three being in good health and with, you know, full capacity, if we were to do other things in our lives, this would be the time. So we had, you know, we had 25 years to be grateful for, and chose to step down.
I think we can see a little bit of some of your new materials. Let's have a look now.
Yeah.
and listening to that, it's a very distinctive voice you have. I think a lot of people, as soon as they hear that sort of soaring, quite high-pitched part of your voice, very distinctive.
Yeah, what do I respond
Well,
to?
was that something, you know, did you have a huge range when you first started singing? Did you develop that?
It was just exciting to discover the voice, and I think it's more in the blood, really, in what you aim for, what you reach for, than the vocal cords. You find the voice. That's what I did anyway. You find areas of the voice that you can use, and you mustn't be afraid of producing ugly things as well. It's certainly as important as finding the good points.
And that's Scared of Heights, which is playing already all over the place. Tell us a little bit about the album. Have you written most of it yourself, or?
No, it's a collaboration. Also, some songs from outside. The Pet Shop Boys gave me a song for the album, which is good. Yeah,
nice.
Called "Listening." It's a really good song. Yeah, it's an honor, I think. And then I've collaborated with other. There's a Swedish band I've written 2-3 songs with, and so different people. Snedden.
Can I ask you some Morten Harket trivia? Is it true that you're big into tree climbing? You like climbing trees?
I do, actually. I don't do it a lot. I should do it more. It'd be good for me.
Was it for some reason I had this notion that you love? It was a kind of a hobby.
Yeah, maybe not a hobby, but I felt that maybe we should spend a bit more time in the trees.
Well, I'm with you in that campaign.
Oh,
I will join. No, absolutely. Say, climb a tree, you feel better. It's a good thing to do.
You will feel better if you manage to stay there.
Yeah, and you don't fall out.
Yeah, exactly.
The new single's called Scared of Heights, though. Different kind of heights.
That's more, I think, a metaphor for not daring to make that step or take the leap in life. Holding back, only just, deciding to stay with what you know and what you are safe with.
I just wanted to ask you, I mean, in the interest of reminiscing, that video, there was the video everyone will remember, which is slightly cartooned. There's a very beautiful girl
Heavily cartooned.
Heavily cartooned, and it made a big impact at the time. The girl who was in there was very beautiful.
Bunty.
Yeah. She became your girlfriend.
I thought the same. Yes, she did. Yeah.
And you met her on the video?
Met her on the set.
On the set, lovely.
Took her away from the set afterwards.
She ran literally into your arms.
Who can blame her? And
she
just quickly,
does in the shot. Yeah.
And you're on tour, aren't you? You got a little 3-date tour.
Well, that's from a British perspective.
Okay, yeah, of course. You're here in Manchester
done Russia
tomorrow night.
And the continent, and it's a little spree
the
here now.
World is
it's a starting point.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much
Certainly.
for coming in.
Thank you.
And the new album, Out of My Hands, is out on Monday.
That's pretty much it from us today. We will be back at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
We'll be